I'm going to give you a rundown of what happened to me, recently with an F-23 A model. It's equivalent to the A1 American. So, but anyways, see, about a year ago around this time, I bought a motor. But what happened is my original motor went out and my car ain't a VTEC. So I was in a tight spot. I was pushed to go get something, and that was the motor I ended up with. So I'll make a long story short. Anyways, my motor was out. I got screwed over like twice for two different motors, and then, you know, didn't have much money left. Had to buy this one. Well, come to find out, I was trying to get reasonable, good price and everything, which are not bad pricing. Don't get me wrong, but come to find out, Honda F Series motors have a little flaw in them, and you don't want it. So this video is going to be maybe a three-part video. So first of all, let me give you a little rundown of what I did. I'm like, did my research. I did everything I needed to do. And let me tell you strictly, if you're going to do your own builds and everything, like me, make sure you do your research first before you even decide to go, oh, well, this and that and the other. No. You do your research and everything like I did after I was pushed to, because I don't like Hondas. I never did like Hondas because everybody and their mom had one. And I wasn't a Honda guy. But the more I get into them and everything, I didn't have a choice. So I had to buy a 94 at the time. And now my 94, I bought this engine, and this engine I got off of eBay. Lesson learned: make sure you expect your shit before you even do anything. Expect it. Change those seals in that motor and everything if it's a Japan JDM motor, because 9 out of 10 times they lie on their descriptions. So about this motor, it was awful weird. It had a lot of carbon buildup and everything. I didn't think nothing of it because I didn't really know much about Hondas or like carbon and all that stuff before I did a lot of research. Now I'm pretty much like a Honda guru. I know what you can put, what you can't, what motors go together, what parts go on, what motors, pretty much the works. So let's get down to business. This is my block. When I first got it, before I even did all this, I would give you a breakdown and a whole rebuild, the thing and everything I did on this engine, but there's tons of those videos out there. I'm going to give you a rundown what you can do, basically if you're a DUI guy or, just to save yourself a little bit of money. But what I did is strip this whole block down to bare. It's just a block. And not only that, Honda, for some reason, looks their blocks, some of their blocks, the casting on them, looks like they picked a booger out of their nose and it just bored and, homed it all out for just a piston and crank and all that. It looked like shit. Like you touch the motor, you get cut and everything. But I deburred the whole motor. It's nice and clean, nice. I port and polished the intakes and the outtakes, basically. And here's the main flaw with Honda F-Series engines. You see that black plate? That's where the balancer shafts went. And good old Honda, they put these balancer shafts in their F-Series, and I think they're H-Series too. But they put those in there, and those, those balancer shafts turn the opposite direction while the engine turns the other direction, and it causes where the engine don't have much vibration. Which, yeah, it's alright, but you can take up vibration with motor mounts or something else. So basically what happens is that belt is just the belt running those things. They rob horsepower, they take up oil pressure. Not only that, they go bad and they throw your timing belt. And with this engine, because it's a, sorry, rotated there. It's a, what do they call it? Interference engine. I don't have a non-interference, so if you throw that timing belt, what it does is everything's going to hit everything. That means your engine's screwed, pretty much new engine time. So that's another good old trick on it, which I ain't dissing Honda for it, but at the same time, it's a shitty design. So I went out and bought the balancer shaft balancer shaft delete kit, which from 320. K-Tune makes one, which is like almost pretty close to 200. But if you do your research, you can find it out there for like about 80 bucks. That's what I found the 1320 for. And basically, Paid $80 some for it. So now I don't have those damn shafts or anything in the way, nothing. So basically I gained an extra liter, lost about maybe 10 pounds of motor weight, and not only that, I'm gaining RPM range and a little bit of horsepower. And then not only with that part of it, I also upgraded the oil. I got more oil pressure with a little trick you can do. It's called a shim, basically to your head. So that's another common thing with pretty much Honda F-Series motors. So anyways, I tore it all down, rebuilt it, rings, pistons, bearings, the works. If I would have known what I know now, I wouldn't have did this. I would have bought the engine I wanted to get. But in a way, I'm kind of glad I got this block because it's got steel sleeve inserts. And this F-Series, you could take the block and you could put a different VTEC head on it with a conversion kit, which it'll make it a G something model or an LS model, which is cool. They call it a Frankenstein build. You take this block, K20 pistons, and the H23 or H22 head, and a little bit of other stuff, boom. You got a lot of horsepower on this sucker. But anyways, mine came factory JDM 150. I pumped it up maybe 210, almost 220. So I'm going to have quite a little bit of pep in that engine. But I tore it all down, rebuilt the block, painted the head, redid the springs, the valves, bought JDM silicone, all silicone hoses, bought 10 millimeter performance coil wrap fucking spark plug wires with the performance coil, rotor and cap, and a coil blaster here. New vacuum lines, basically the works. I bought a GRS trans, basically can handle that torque and that power I'm going to be putting out. Got a couple more builds and everything. Anyways, so I learned my lesson from this. I built this, because I can't seem to find a clear one in F-Series or nothing like that to show off what I got underneath the hood on the cam. So basically, F-Series, there's stuff out there, but there's... Whoa, almost dropped it. Almost dropped the camera, folks. That would have sucked. There's not that much, dress-up stuff that looks cool for it. A lot for the B-Series and the Ds, but hardly anything for the Fs. But anyways, I upgraded that, I figured I'd spend some money. Everybody tells me, Jeff, why don't you go and buy a new car or whatever? You have the money, you can afford it now. I don't want to buy a new car because you know what? Every time I get a new car, it's a piece of shit. And at least with this car, I know what I have and I know what I'm doing. I buy pieces of shit any day. But, I upgraded. I got all Sparco, everything Sparco. And everything. Sparco steering wheel and everything, and that stuff ain't cheap. Sparco quick release hub. I got a VTEC controller in it and everything. I'll give you more rundown because it's going to be like a 3-part. So this is pretty much going to sum up this video for me. And I'll give you more rundowns of what you can do. Also, oh yeah, that's my doomsday, the coronavirus doomsday prep fucking weapon. Almost done with that too. But see that? I poured and polished that. All this was like up here, like if you know F23s and their boxing, they have stuff right there. So I cleared all that aluminum out, poured it, polished it, redid it. Where's my top to that thing? Hold on a minute, folks. Let me show you. Sorry, I kind of half-assed it right now. But redid this one, put where the old F22 shit was, like set up the whole intake air box like that. Put the vacuum lines in. If you got machining tools,